예, 서킷 브레이커죠. 제가 순간 최종전으로 생각했습니다. 죄송합니다.
Oh, Strato says they hosted Fighting Spirit first. That's why they have to restart. Okay. They hosted Fighting Spirit instead of Circuit Breakers, so they must start again. Alright, P5, T7, and we're allying Brittany. Sweet. Alright, so basically, that is Brittany. Apparently some fans got like a heart for him. I don't know if that's like a Brittany fan sign, or it'd be funny if it was a Killer fan sign. They're just holding it up under his picture. Or under his face. And there's Mong. Seems pretty calm, pretty chill. He's playing against Brittany after all. But remember, this guy did beat Jaehoon, who beat Hero and Shuttle. Oh god, I still can't get over that. Anyway, now okay, so we are now on horizontal positions on Circuit Breaker, which I feel is quite strange and quite difficult for PvT because the push path for Terran is quite protected. Because instead of pushing through the middle of the map, which is actually fairly open, you can push along the south side through the 6 o'clock expansion, which makes it basically impossible for the Protoss to flank you. Now, of course, it does take a little bit longer, it's a little bit further, but I don't know, I feel like if the Terran goes down that way, I mean, he's going to naturally expand, you know, inwards, I think, with the middle only anyway, so if he starts just pushing, creeping down there towards the 6 o'clock, and then creeping over to your side of the map, it's a real pain in the butt. So I guess we'll see what Brittany does here. On the other hand, considering it's a best of one, and considering Brittany, I'm sure, knows that Mong is a higher class player than himself, may just try some kind of cheese. You know, he could just DT rush or do a proxy weave or something and just try and end the game on one base anyway before anything that happens. So, you know, map analysis be damned. He could just win with some kind of cheese. In the meantime, it looks like we're gonna have a cross map scout here from Mong. No, he might just be checking the middle for proxies, and then yeah, he's just checking the middle for proxies, and then going down to the bottom right. Meanwhile, the probe does go in the incorrect direction towards the top right. He might change direction to bottom left though once he sees how early the ACV gets into his base. Based on the scout timings where you see your opponent's scout get into your base, you often know what position they're in. I think if I was Brittany here, I'd probably just send my probe straight cross map, and it looks like that's what he's doing. So, otherwise, everything seems to be fairly normal in both players' bases. Got some goon range going on, got the factory coming up here, the SCV's got to skedaddle before the goon gets out. Notice there's a pylon snuck right at the bottom left of the Protoss space. That's going to serve many purposes. If he wants to proxy or high-tech later on, he can put it over there. You know, going on into the mid-game, it'll help to spot any drops coming in over there. And even if none of those things happen, if the SCV doesn't see or sees a missing pylon, he's just going to be slightly suspicious. So, you know, it's a pretty nice place. Meanwhile, probe guy's going to get warded away by a Marine here. Not really going to have a gander at what's going on. He's going to have to use his Dragoon to come over here and poke a little bit. Now the thing is, in PvT there's not that much a Terran can deviate with in the beginning of the game. So generally, even if the probe doesn't get in, if you just poke around a little bit with your initial goons and just get a feel for what kind of units he's producing, you can generally get a pretty good idea about what kind of build you're facing. For example, you know, if you see 4 or 5 Marines at the top of the ramp, you're fairly certain he's going for an FD. Or if, you know, you don't see that many Marines, you know, you only see 1 or 2 and he's playing a bit defensively or something like that, it could be potentially like a 2-fact and he's hiding some units, or or some kind of other sneaky thing. You know, there's a lot of small indications like that you can get even if you don't get the probe in. As we can see, there's nothing crazy like that. It is just going to be a fast expand from both players, in fact. So it's going to be a 1-gate expand. This is what I think is an FD on the other side. I'm actually not 100% sure. It looks like it's wow. It's sort of an FD, but skipping the siege tank. He's gone straight for the Vulture. He's going to start laying mines down. A little bit of a risky opening, but you know, given these little bridges here, it's probably going to save. And the probe, though, is going to see the mines being laid immediately on this side of the map. And you can see it. Look at the mini-map. Brittany immediately pulls his Dragoons back. He as soon as he sees the mines going down so early there on that side of the those side of the bridges, he knows immediately what's going on in Mong's head. See, Mong's plan there was to lay the mines there, assume that the goons were going to be far forward to be aggressive and stop any kind of early push, and instead the vultures would try and sneak into the main. But as soon as he saw the mines being laid straight away, he knew what was going on. He pulled back, because if it was like a normal FD with mines, the tank would have been out earlier. He would have started pushing on the map. He would have laid the mines as close to the Protoss base as possible, you know, barring seeing any kind of crazy DT rush. So that was kind of the indication that made Brittany pull back. Meanwhile, we have a very fast third base here from Mong, which is very interesting. This is the kind of strategy you can, you know, that's suited to maps like Fighting Spirit, where the third base is super easy to take and hold. Circuit Breaker, it doesn't seem quite as easy. You know, it's on a low ground below a wide ramp. As you can see here, this is the wide ramp. Protoss can attack down there into the base. You know, and it's a mineral-only base. It's not like the best expansion in the world either. So this is a curious strategy from Mong, but I think it's okay because, as I said again, if you look at the way the map works, once Mong... Whoa, now you can't see it. Okay, once Mong secures that mineral-only, he can start creeping down to the 6 o'clock base as well, which again is fairly closed off, and then start pushing his way over to the bottom right towards the Protoss base. So all of this kind of leads into that long-term plan, I think. Anyway, looks like got a couple of pylons here at the front to help narrow that gap against any kind of ultra run-bys. Meanwhile, just 3 goons gonna head out, maybe do a little bit of mine clearing. Always a good idea not to send all of your goons out at once, just to prevent any kind of ultra run-bys into the back. You know, just sending out a handful of goons at this early stage is plenty. And as you can see, this is exactly what's happened here. Mong's tried to do a run around, and it's been denied. But the third command center is floating out. I don't actually know what the Protoss is doing here. I don't know if we just haven't seen his base for a while, or I wasn't paying attention. Alright, let's see. He's got the Citadel, he's got Obs, he's got 3 gateways. He really doesn't have that much, actually. He's not really going to have enough to punish this fast third base. And conversely, it's not even like he's gone for fast arbiters or any kind of tech. He just doesn't really seem to be doing that much, which is kind of weird. Come on. Oh, just as I say, he does actually throw down the Stargate and the Temple Archive. So it is actually going to be 2 base arbiters. Sorry, it looks like we just caught him right before he actually planted those buildings. So it is going to be 2 base arbiter for Brittany. But because Mong's third was so unbelievably ridiculously fast, I don't think the arbiters will even be in time to actually do too much about this. So yeah, this fast third actually has turned out to be really quite safe for Mong here, and there's not too much Brittany can do. As you can see, he's just gonna have to take a third of his own at 3 o'clock. That's gonna be way later than the Terran's third, even though it's a gas base. Looks like the Stargate and Templite Archives have finished. He's gonna want to throw down that Arbiter Tribunal straight away here. That takes a while to finish. Arbiters take forever to build. You know, it really does take super long to get out that first Arbiter. Alright, so, well, it's got his third base going up. I'm curious to see where Mong actually takes his 4th. I think taking the 6 o'clock might be a good idea here. You might think, well, you know, expanding to the closer to your opponent is kind of weird, but in TVP, generally expanding towards your opponent is actually good. Because of how immobile mech is, it's a little bit hard to defend against backstabs and counters. So really, if you just expand along the attack path, especially on circuit breakers, where he can essentially just defend the 2 narrow bridges, which prevents any kind of counterattack into his natural, it's very easy for him to push along the south side. I keep repeating myself here, but it's important to see how good of an overall strategy I think this is. On the other hand, though, of course, the Arbiters could always throw a wrench into the plans. Still need to see how good Brittany is with them. If, you know, in the hands of a Mega Gosu Protoss, you can do all sorts of cool tricks with the Arbiters, like running individual cloaked zealots under them to mind drag and crazy things like that. But, you know, if you're Brittany, I'm not so convinced. Or if you're Jaehoon, I'm even less convinced. Anyway, it looks like Monk's still just goofing off with a couple of random vultures here. Not doing too much. And Brittany looks like he started mining from the 3 o'clock already. So, yeah, we're just going to chill for a second here. I mean, don't know if Mong's going to try some kind of big timing here off these 3 bases or not. He's gone up to 7 factories. Doesn't appear... I don't see any armories. They might be at his natural, though. But I really do not see any armories. That's kind of interesting. That indicates to me he might be going for some kind of huge timing here and not focusing on upgrades. I must be missing them, though. He must have an armory somewhere. Surely he has an armory. I mean, I don't see a Goliath, but... Does he not have an armory? Somebody tell me he has an armory, now I'm just crazy. Anyway, got some more mines being laid. And... Oh god, no, be careful please. No, what are you doing? Where the obs at? Dude, bro, no, goons, don't, please. Oh god. Brittany, dude, that is not how you use your goons. That is incorrect. That is not right. Oh man, he's getting mine trapped. Oh! Oh, okay, he's okay. Sort of. Okay, that could have gone a lot worse. He's still gonna lose all his goons though, I think. Oh, decent control. Nope, he's dead. Oh, Mind Dragon! Ooh, that was good. That was pretty good. Anyway, that base is gonna get denied for a little while. In the meantime, there's a scan. Gonna see the Arbiters are out. Probably not quite enough energy for a spell yet. I imagine he would have gotten stasis first. In the meantime, Mong looks like he's actually gotten the 9 o'clock base already, or at least it's building there. And otherwise, you know, besides this little bit of vulture shenanigans, not doing too much. But you know, that's generally the way the TVPs goes. You run around, you do your vulture harass, you stockpile siege tanks, try and build up that solid core of siege tanks. Because the vultures, you can easily replenish them. They build really quickly. They're just 75 minerals. Really great reinforcement units. And the tanks are really the key here. Meanwhile, though, Brittany, though, is being pretty on top of his mine clearing, at least. And gonna try and keep these probes safe in the transfer. And gonna trap some of these vultures on their way out. So that's pretty nice. Man. Okay, looks like there's Goliaths now, so there is an armory somewhere. I guess it would have to be, considering Mong's taking his 4th base at the 9 o'clock. But you know, once it starts running, I mean, it's gonna be even bases still. Although, technically, the Protoss has 1 extra gas over his opponent there because Mong did take that miner only as his 3rd. But still, not really a good idea to let the Terran just kind of expand wherever he wants here. But Brittany is moving out in the middle of the map a little bit. I don't know if he's really going to engage here. It looks like, oh, he might find a good angle here because Mong has moved out to take the 9 o'clock base. You can see it's a lot more open in the middle of the map. That's why I was suggesting going for the 6 o'clock instead. Going for that 9 o'clock really makes him open to this kind of aggression. But I don't know if Brittany really has enough stuff just yet to actually attack this. Even though it's quite open, Mong still has a decent position. He's laid a lot of mines in front to buffer his siege tanks. Yeah, that is a pretty decent position. So it looks like Brittany is not going to commit just yet, but he does have his Arbiters producing there. He's got 2 in his army right now. He's got the top right. It looks like he's added a gateway there. He's going to make another base at the top right, and then start adding gateways there. So he's going to have a second source of gateways. But big vulture run by going into the natural. It looks like some zealots are here to try and defend here. The vultures though are going to be pretty good against them, and the zealots have to be careful not to mind drag into the probes here. That is very dangerous. However, at the same time, the rest of the Protoss army is going for the attack. It looks like like it's a very, very zealot heavy, which is going to make it very susceptible to big minefields. Meanwhile, it looks like the vultures have been cleaned up. It looks like a decent number of probes remaining, so there wasn't any kind of huge mine drag. But on the other hand, what do we have here? An Arbiter's moving out, gonna get ready for a recall, it looks like. Mong does have pretty good vision in the middle of the map. I'm pretty sure that Arbiter's just flown over a minefield or something, so Mong will know it's coming. I don't see a science vessel though. To help spot it. And yeah, it looks like the double armies were actually the natural. It's actually pretty common to see that nowadays, to have Terrans while the armies are the natural, because if they get recalled in the main, that's one of the first buildings that the Protoss will target is the armories to stop the upgrades. So if you put it as your natural, it's much harder for the Protoss to actually snipe it, obviously, because they're gonna be recalling your main base a lot more than your natural. And here we go. Oh my god, Nico! Into the 9 o'clock base. Not that many goons though. I think the command center might survive, given that it's pretty close to the Terran army. However, he kills a few SCVs, forces the lift, denies a little bit of mining time, and doesn't expend too many troops in the process, just 4 Dragoons and a handful of Zealots. Meanwhile, top right base continues to go up here. It looks like, oh, he might get a big mine drag! Blowing up a lot of the vultures. Very, very nicely done. And it looks like, oh, he's grouping up again. He's going for another recall? Or maybe that's just how the goons went after he moved them there. Yeah, it looks like he's not going for another recall just yet. Apparently has the gas left over to actually get a couple of High Templar. But yeah, see, here's the thing. So, if Mong doesn't move out very soon, okay, just as I say that, he's moving out now. The thing is, the Protoss is establishing a gateway farm at the top right. On these 4-player maps, the Protoss always tries to get a second main base and add a bunch of gateways there, because once you've got 2 gateway farms, as I call them, these late game engagements become much more manageable, because you can reinforce and replenish your army much more easily. But here we go, a big engagement going in, not that many mines laid in front, a big stasis, it's a little bit late, but is it going to be enough here? The Zealots closing with the siege tanks, the goons coming in, but most of the Zealots are dead. I think Brittany, is he barely going to clean it up? It looks like he will. It's going to be very, very close though. Very costly for both players, but no, it looks like Mong has reinforced more effectively than Brittany, and Brittany is forced to pull his Dragoons back. I don't know why there were no Zealots coming in there. There should have been a wave of Zealot reinforcements. They just were not there. I don't know what he was doing, but clearly not macroing properly. Mong, on the other hand, did bring in the reinforcements, allowed him to save those units that were in stasis, save the last of his siege tanks, and he is now the one slowly but surely pushing his way across the map. As you can see on the mini-map, he is actually going to start splitting the Protoss bases in the middle here. You can start sieging down the 3 o'clock there and just cut the 2 sides off from each other. In the meantime, though, it looks like he actually tried to sneak the 6 o'clock with no defenses. That's not lasting too long, as you can see. But the main army, though, is doing fantastically. And, oh man, if you can pull some mines into those SCVs, that'd be awesome. But here we can see the 3 o'clock is getting sieged down. Now, the thing is, though, that because Brittany has that gateway farm at the top right, if he does macro up a decent enough force up there and has all these units down here coming from his actual national, he could do a bit of like a pincer attack on that Terran attack going to his 3 o'clock, but it looks like he's too preoccupied with making a move along the 6 o'clock there with the units from the bottom right, and then with the units in the bottom, the top right, he's just going out and clearing the middle of the map from mines. Meanwhile, the 3 o'clock is still alive. Some good storms clearing out a lot of vultures and spider mines. However, it looks like it's not quite enough. And he's forced to pull back, and now the 3 o'clock base has actually fallen. So Mong in pretty good shape here. 4 base to 4 base, although I think both of them have mined out their mains. And probably getting close to mine out the naturals as well, so sort of like 2.5 versus 2.5. Either way, even bases is good for Terran. Protoss needs to be 1 base ahead, kind of like Zerg. It looks like the mech army is moving out once again in the middle, but the Protoss army, deciding not to engage head on, is going around the 6 o'clock base once again here, trying to force his way through. Is he going to make it this time? He's got a good number of Zealots. The Terran army, though, is coming back. It looks like 1 High Templar bites the dust. Do we have a storm from the second? Looks like a stasis, grabbing a couple of tanks, not doing that much. Most of the Zealots have fallen. A nice EMP on the middle of the goons. Meanwhile, some more reinforcements from the top right are coming down here. Good storm on the back siege tanks, but look at all those reinforcing Terran units coming in from the top side. Not nearly enough stuff for Brittany, and he is forced back once again here, tail between his legs. Mong really looking in control of this game right now. Oh man, a couple of High Templars. Nope, that last High Templar somehow manages to survive. But, well, here we go. Mong gonna keep the pressure on, gonna move out once again. Doesn't actually have that many siege tanks, only a couple of tanks, but a lot of vultures this time. If you just lay some good mines, we'll be in a good position. But a recall going in, but EMP'd. No recall for you, and it might even die to the turret. Nope, not quite. But it's going to be a forever before it can actually have enough energy to recall again. So he's going to chill there until that's the case. And here we go. Now we have the big attack going to the top right. There are a few zealots there. It looks like some zealots on the bottom right, though. But they're going to have to run through some mines if they want to go and reinforce this position. It's going to be a little bit tricky for Brittany to actually take this. And in fact, there are still a few siege tanks left over from the 3 o'clock siege. Gonna deny the reinforcements, so now these zealots are a little bit stuck in the back, and there's no way that Brittany can actually hold that base. I think he should just sack the base and just try and regroup a few more reinforcements to hit the Terran with a bit more of a substantial army instead of just throwing in small groups of units willy-nilly. Look at this, he's a little bit stuck at the top right here. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, remember, this is a best of 1 losers matchup, which means the loser of this game is eliminated from the SSL, and the winner actually goes on to face Killer, which is no easy feat either. But, I mean, if Mong makes it through, which is looking like he's going to, it's going to be a rematch from their first matchup here, potentially another ridiculously long and awesome TVZ. Anyway, here we go. Mong moving down towards the bottom right. Once again here, he's just doing an A-move Terran. He's not even sieging up anymore. He's just got an overwhelming force here. And I think Brittany has got to tap out here. I think he just can't quite accept defeat because he doesn't want to get knocked out of the tournament. But there's really nothing he can do anymore. When the Terran is A-moving the Protoss, you know you've lost the game. Oh man, just look at it. That poor little goon force is stuck. The Zealot to the top right, trying to break out, but really getting hammered by the siege tanks and the spider mines. Finally, the mines are cleared. He might somehow clear out these tanks. Wow, maybe. Yes, I think he will, but he has just lost basically everything. The entire army at the National has been taken down. Even though those top right tanks are gone, you know, Mong is in complete control. And GG from Brittany. Finally throws in the towel. Brittany has been eliminated from his group 0-2. Mong has gone on to the final match. He will be facing Killer in another best of 3, a rematch from the opening series today, which, let me remind you again, was an almost 90-minute best of 3 TVZ series. Man, if it's another hour and a half of games, I am not even going to survive. Whew. Man, Mong better get his rest though. He's better take a break, because he's going to be facing Killer, the ridiculously strong Zerg, in just a second.
그렇기 때문에 김봉준 선수가 뭔가 출발을 하고 난 이후에 상대방을 맞춰가지 못하고 그리고 이제 자신의 준비해온 대로만 빌드를 보여주고 난 이후에 아무것도 보여준 게 없습니다. 어떻게 이겨야 될 건가에 대한 마침표를 제대로 못 찍다 보니까
네, 맞습니다.
윤찬희 선수를 상대로도 또 그리고 다른 선수를 상대로도 계속 패하는 것 같아요.
예, 뭐 지금 김봉준 선수 졌는데 김봉준 팬분이 그 편말을 역시 봉준이라고 이게 좀 약간 안 맞는데요. 자, 어쨌든 다음 경기 5분만 강모 영상 보고 최종전 3판 2선 마지막 경기 하도록 하겠습니다, 여러분.
멀티팜 정품팜 최저팜 빨리팜 타는 즐거운 팜팜 너도 나도 팜팜 새 신을 신고 뛰어보자 팜팜 팜팜팜 신발팜 검색창에 신발팜을 쳐보세요. www.신발팜.com
스타크래프트 연신
Alright,
소니TV와
alright,
함께
we're back,
오고
ladies and
있습니다.
gentlemen.
오늘 개막전
I've had some chocolate, so I am semi-rejuvenated. And I'm ready for a rematch! TVZ, Killer versus Mong. Alright, two amazing players. Killer, number 2 in power rank, and Mong, number 8, with some superb TVZ. And oh, looks like I went too far. Back. Is this good? Whatever, we'll just go here. Okay. Oh, it is not Mong versus Brittany. It is Killer versus Winner 4. Wait a minute. Killer versus Mong. There we go. I'll get this right at some point, I promise. So this is the final match. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this best of 3 will advance to the round of 16. The loser is out of the tournament. Either Mong or Killer is just gonna die in the first round. I can't believe it. How is this happening? Zero, man, what did you do? What did you do? Oh my